Sometimes purpose finds us when we least expect it. Maybe it's through a challenge that breaks us open, or a problem that feels too big to ignore. Well, for today's guest listeners, that moment came when she realized that no parent should have to fight for their child's care. On this episode of BizBlend with your host Sana, we are joined by Nichole Daher, an autism mom, healthcare professional, and the founder of Success on the Spectrum, a company born from heartbreak but built on hope. Today, she helps parents find support, children find visibility, and entrepreneurs find meaning without sacrificing their families or their sanity. So, we are going to explore how a deeply personal mission can actually evolve into a scalable, profitable brand and what it really takes to balance heart and hustle in a world that often tells you, pushes you to pick one. So, Nicole, welcome to the show, and it's really an honor to have you here with us.
It's an honor to be here, and what a beautiful intro you've given me. I'm flattered. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Nicole, for your kind words, um, and yeah, let's try to explore the origin of purpose here, Nicole. Your story began with something deeply personal here. The pain of waiting for care, your child needed. Um, how did that personal struggle become the spark for building success on the spectrum?
I wouldn't even say that it was intentional. Uh, it started off in 2014 when I got married to a man who had a daughter with autism. And so I was suddenly a stepmother to this child that I didn't know how to take care of. And I loved her as if she were my own child, and I wanted to care for her properly, and I wanted her to get all of the help and support that she needed so that eventually she could grow into an adult that would still have opportunities. When a child is diagnosed with autism, you're often afraid they'll never get married, they'll never go to college, they'll never have kids of their own, they'll never live on their own. Who's going to take care of them when I die? And these are all the things that you hope to teach your child enough skill throughout their lifetime that they don't have to be dependent on you as a parent for their entire lives. And that is what ABA therapy does. It stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. And so, as soon as a child is diagnosed with autism, the American Society of Pediatrics recommends that a child be enrolled in ABA therapy as soon as possible, and that therapy teaches them the life skills that they need to know, to grow independence. My daughter was enrolled in ABA therapy, but at 7 years old, they said, "Okay, you're done. She's aged out of the program. She has to go into the school system now." And she wasn't ready for it. And I was
Mm,
so worried about all the progress we had made and who's gonna support her now, and as you know, the American school system is not very great, and I was scared
mhm,
for her. So I opened up Success on the Spectrum, which is an ABA therapy business that accepts children all the way up to 18 years old. We don't cut it off at 6 or 7 years old. We keep the children for as long as they need to grow into
mhm,
successful adults.
mm. I think here the essence here is that first of all, you are absolutely right that there's a very uh, big kind of a stigma or a stereotype that any kid and any person with um, autism or or anyone who is dyslexic or any kind of what conventionally is called disability, they wouldn't fit into the conventional norms, the social template in there. And secondly, I think you very rightly identified a gap where every child is assumed that they'll fit into this standard set template of only till 7 years you are accepted, and then after that everyone assumes that you are ready to be now adjusting yourself into the standard school system. But I think your initiative, it maintains the sanctity that every child will have their unique journey of learning, and I think that's what exactly it is honoring. So that's really really inspirational, really inspirational, Nicole.
Thank you, and you're so right. School, a traditional school setting is not appropriate for every child. The symptoms of autism could mean that you have vocal stereopathy, which is where they will just scream for no reason or make loud noises, which would disturb the other children in the class or distract them. There's also escape maintained behaviors where they'll run out of the room, run into parking lots. They have no sense of danger. And one school teacher that's in charge of 20 kids could not chase one versus the other and leave the others unprotected. They have sensory sensitivities where certain lights bother them or other noises bother them. And the environment of a school classroom may be too chaotic for them to sit and concentrate. Sending them to ABA therapy instead means that they have a very controlled environment with one on one instruction. Every kid gets their own teacher at all times. So you have very concentrated, very personalized curriculum. And instead of having one large group classroom, we have several very small rooms with distraction free environment that helps them to control those triggers that autism typically can bring on. And it helps them. New environments definitely help them concentrate and absorb new information, but it also protects the other children from each other if the child happens to be aggressive. So it's safer and it's more meaningful progress wise.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think also, um, I think it also gives a ray of hope that there are good Samaritans who are working towards embracing inclusion. You are doing it at the most fundamental level of any child out there. I mean, I have had conversations with people who are at the leadership positions, who have been autistic themselves. They are at the leadership positions, and they're also creating environments where which are sensory created like that, which can make environment comfortable for people with autism. And actually there you are creating awareness around this appreciation of neurodiversity, and also giving actionables that do not actually succumb to the traditional norms.
Absolutely. It you can't go with the traditional norms. It doesn't serve that population of children. And let me say, the population of kids with autism is exponentially growing.
Mm.
Over the years, I think we have gotten better at recognizing autism symptoms and diagnosing. And so the 1 out of 31 children born will be diagnosed with autism. And to your point, there are lots of adults running around out there with high functioning autism that have never been diagnosed because in the past, doctors did not recognize that well. And so a lot of kids that struggled in school as children and are socially awkward as adults probably do have autism after all. But the world would be such a better place if every kid got the help that they needed and didn't experience that huge struggle or being ostracized from friends or being outside of the norm of social groups within their schools. The more kids that there are, the more facilities like mine need to open to serve them, and it's a huge gap, and it's a huge business opportunity as well because there are so many people looking for this service and so few people that offer it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is definitely such an apt example of, how um, it feels like to bridge between purpose and practicality. So that's really really amazing, actually, Nicole. So now, you also mentor ex corporate professionals who actually want impact without losing balance. So. Personally, for you, Nicole, I mean, what have you learned about scaling impact without burning out? Because sometimes it can be very, very emotionally or physically overwhelming.
You are correct. So I opened the very first clinic in 20 uh, 2015, and it quickly became full. It was meant just to be a small thing for my daughter and a few other kids, but it grew quickly and we became full, and I felt guilty as a mother turning away other children because we didn't have space. So I expanded and we became full again. Then I opened a second clinic and we became full again. And I had this problem where you're right, I was working so much and so hard that I didn't have time to be a mother anymore. But there were still more families calling and asking to be admitted into our program. And I felt guilty. And I realized, like you said in your intro, this problem was bigger than just me. I couldn't fix it on my own. I needed help. I needed other people to pick up the same cause and to assist. And so, I franchised the business to make it
Mm.
easy to scale. And so now, we were the first franchise in the United States in this industry, trendsetters. But now all of my time is spent helping other aspiring business owners learn about this industry. I train them how to open the business, how to run it, how to hire employees, how to get clients, what to do when things happen, what kind of forms or paperworks, admissions forms and things that clients need to sign as they come in. And so it's really great that I'm not only helping the children, but now I'm also helping entrepreneurs become CEOs of their own company in this industry with such high demand and making money while doing good in the world and giving back to the community and earning all that good karma.
That's really, really creative, Nicole. Really creative, very practical, actually. That, instead of, because when, you know, a person, and, especially an entrepreneur, is doing everything themselves, we often say in the entrepreneurial circles or for founders that, at one point, it's kind of inevitable for you to burn out. And that's exactly when, um, gradually you start to lose control, because you are not running the business, but the business is kind of now running you. And, you cannot exactly, as we all say, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. So I think it's very, very creative and very, I think, it's very responsible that, you are actually guiding, mentoring others to become entrepreneurs, and also bridge this gap between, that there's a very counterintuitive or very kind of, a negative connotation around profit with mission driven businesses. These two words, they cannot go together, like profit and NGO, profit or mission driven, profit and charity. So I think you are definitely kind of breaking so many stereotypes and busting so many misconceptions in there.
Thank you. And it's true. Most philanthropic businesses are not profitable. A lot of them are nonprofits or charity organizations. It is rare indeed that you find a business model that helps others that is also profitable, and there is a way to treat the kids well and give them what they need, all while making money. And in the United States, I believe it's a little bit easier than other places. When a family comes to me and says they want to enroll their child in this service, they don't pay a dime. The health insurance is what pays the tuition for the children to attend our facility. So it doesn't place any financial hardship on the families that we serve. And it still helps the kids and it gives them a chance to become fulfilled and complete members of society that will contribute as adults instead of, being a burden by being dependent. So I think it serves the child, it serves the community, it serves us, and the payments aren't they're guilt-free payments, I like to say, because it doesn't come directly from them. It's subsidized by that insurance.
Mm, exactly, exactly. And I think this could be a hard but very, very necessary mindset shift for a lot of new founders. Um, and also, as you mentioned about franchise, Nicole. Now, I would like you to bring a particular viewpoint from the critics. Now, a few would say that franchising or scaling social impact businesses, it risks watering down authenticity. So, how do you make sure, Nicole, that doesn't happen with success on the spectrum?
You're so right about that. And there are several things that we do to keep the quality of our services high and the priority on the services for the children and not on the dollar. And so the first way that we do this is I'm very picky on who I allow to become a franchisee. We interview people, we see what their backgrounds are, and we look for patterns. We want people that prioritize the mission and not the profit. And I'm happy to say that one fourth or 25% of our franchisees are autism parents, just like me. And the other 75% are people that either have a connection to autism, a nephew, a niece, or a friend with a child with autism that they've seen the problems and the help that they need firsthand. But every now and then we will get an aspiring entrepreneur that wants a business with purpose and they will or even want a business that has something to do with childcare because they love children. Maybe they want to open a daycare, maybe a preschool or a child care center. They come across our ads and without even knowing what ABA therapy is, they can say, "Oh, unlike a daycare, there's no financial burden on the parents. There's less liability involved because we're working one-on-one with the children, so they're watched more carefully, and it checks both boxes of purpose-driven work with profitable work, and so, we're very careful on who we let in. But secondly, after one of our clinics is open, we monitor their work. And every 6 months, we perform a quality and compliance audit where we step foot into their clinic, we look at their paperwork, we interview the parents, we investigate any complaints either from staff or from clients, and we have set standards that they have to meet. Otherwise, they're met with a violation. And I think careful observation of all of the clinics and constant support helps that
Mm.
quality to stay high.
Wow, that's really, really fascinating, Nicole. I think this is a it's a perfect example of how structure and systems, they would protect the heart rather than replacing it. Because once again, people would once again ask, okay, Do you believe that heart can be replicated, or scaling comes with a trade-off? But I think this is such an apt example to once again silence those critics. So yeah, that's really good, Nicole. And also, there's a growing trend of personal brands turning into businesses. But some would argue that it makes missions feel performative, with so much, social media and all the stuff out there, like, just creating buzz and creating visibility than what exactly is happening behind, or what exactly the service is. How do you stay authentic while also being the face of your brand?
I think being an autism mom makes me a little more credible and trustworthy than just a business person. I never set out to be a business person. It just happened. But we like to show as a company that we're not just about the profit, and we do something that nobody else does, and that is our community outreach program. And so instead of those typical marketing ads and social media posts and the gimmicks and the posts, we throw events, free events for children with autism and their families to attend. It's I just have to explain that when you become an autism parent, you don't get invited to the birthday parties because your child is the weird one, and you can't hang out with your friends that have children of the same age because your child is mentally not as developed as them, or they're disruptive, or you can't go into public because they'll run or get aggressive. They don't interact in the same ways. And so you're judged harshly and you're left out, and it can be isolating for both the child and the parent. And so what I wanted was not just to create a space in an autism clinic where a child belonged, which we did, but I also want to help change the world and make places in the world where the children belong and where they can interact and be around other children like them. These free events create happy memories for these children. They create social opportunities for both the children and the parents to speak with each other and be amongst people that are very much like them. So we will throw autism prom or dances where we have bubbles and music and glow in the dark sticks. We throw autism festivals in the fall when the weather is cool, and we set up games for them to play outside, or bounce houses for them to enjoy, or bubble machines outside that they can run around in a safe space where they aren't judged. Free picture days. It is so difficult to get a picture of a child with autism because they avoid eye contact, and it's hard to get them to look at the camera. So we will have special photographers come in with loud jingle noises to get their attention and make them look, and the parents can actually have a decent picture of their child for Christmas or for Easter, or family photos together, whatever it is. And these social events, again, all free to the public. It's not a money-making scheme, it's not a marketing scheme, and I think it really shows our dedication to the children and to our mission to help them.
Absolutely. That's so heartwarming, Nicole. And I think it also, reflects the intention behind all this, that it's coming from um, heart. It's coming from someone, from a parent, from, a mother, her fight. And it has now become a movement that, I think very well is reminding all of us that, when it comes to purpose and profit, they don't have to compete, but we can see a beautiful collaboration of both of them here. So, Nicole, thank you so much. And of course, if our listeners, they would like to explore more about success on the spectrum, they would like to connect with you, what will be the easiest way?
Thank you. Yes, if anyone is interested in learning more, you can visit our website, successonthespectrum.com.
Okay, super. So, listeners, what I'll do for all of you is have all the details in the show notes. So, just go and explore success on the spectrum. Find them, find the links along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And what I can say to all of you listeners, I think Nicole's story is a blueprint for building something that not only works, but it actually matters. So, if you are standing at the same crossroads, like between meaning and money, profit and purpose, I absolutely believe this conversation is your nudge to stop waiting for that perfect moment and start building from the heart you already have. So, Nicole, once again, thank you so much. This was really, really heartwarming, very practical, yet so meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to our listeners, please show your appreciation to Sana by leaving her a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. This woman came in with well prepared questions, and she's asking all of the right things to help you learn information you may not have heard otherwise. So, thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole. That means a lot. That means a lot. And to all the listeners, once again, thank you for devoting your time to this episode on BizBlend. And until then, this is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.